Welcome to the CAD Office Training Guide series for FDOT Civil 3D. Hello, my name is Mike Rocca, and I'm a CAD Application Support Specialist with the Florida Department of Transportation. Today, I will be going through the FDOT Civil 3D Drainage Training Guide. In this series of videos, I will take you step by step through each exercise from the guide. Today, we will start with Chapter 4, Water Flow Directions. Let's get started. In this chapter, we contain examples of FDOT surface styles that display watershed areas, contours, flow direction arrows, as well as usage of the water drop command. The objectives in this chapter, we'll learn about displaying water flow directions, Xref files, using the Xlist command, and defining catchments using surface and water drop. Run the Chapter 4.exe file and restore all files to the C Civil 3D Projects folder. Do not change the location in which the practice files are installed. Doing so can cause errors when completing the exercises in this training manual. Exercise 4.1. Displaying water flow directions. Unload attached Xrefs in the DRM-PRD01 file. The next steps will show you how to unload an attached Xref in the DRM-PRD01.dwg. When you unload a drawing, it does not remove it from the Xref list. It removes it from the memory and visibility. So after starting the FDOT Civil 3D State Kit, open the DRM-PRD01 drawing located in Chapter 4 Dataset Drainage folder. From the Insert tab on the Reference panel, click the arrow located in the lower right-hand corner to open the External References tool palette. The External Reference tool palette displays. Right-click on DREXRD01 in the Reference Name column and select Unload. Next, right-click on TOPRD01 and select Unload. In the Status column, notice the two files are now listed as unloaded. Click External Reference Tool Palette to close it. Review the results of unloading the DREXRD01 and the TOPORD01 Xrefs. Elevation Analysis of SR61 Final Surface. The next steps will show you how to perform an elevation analysis of SR61 Final Surface. From the Tool space on the Prospector tab, expand Surfaces. Then right-click on SR61 Final and select Surface Properties. From the Surface Properties dialog box, select the Information tab. From the Surface Style drop-down list, select Elevation Banding. Next, select the Analysis tab. Under the Analysis Type drop-down list, select Elevations. Note, under Ranges, Create Ranges by drop-down list, select Range Interval with Datum. Set the Range Interval with Datum field to 1 and Datum Elevation field to 30. Click the down arrow to run analysis. The range details at the bottom will populate with the minimum elevation, maximum elevation values, and various colors under the Color Scheme column. Click Apply, then OK to close the Surface Property dialog box. Notice the elevation banding surface style displays the color range and model space as shown. Setting a datum elevation sets the starting point for the sequence of colors in the color scheme. When all colors have been used, the pattern repeats at the next rain interval. In this color scheme, red is at the beginning and blue is at the end. Exercise 4.2, Slope Arrows, Watershed Analysis of SR61 Final Surface. The next step will show you how to repeat the analysis process to create and display a slope arrows, watershed surface style. From the tool space on the Prospector tab, expand Surfaces and right-click the SR61 Final and select Surface Properties. From the Surface Properties SR61 Final dialog box, select the Information tab. Click the down arrow next to the Edit button and select Copy Current Selection. From the Surface Style Slope Arrows dialog box, select the Information tab. Enter Slope Arrows Watershed into the name. And description field, then click Apply. Next, from the Surface Style Slope Arrows Watershed dialog box, select the Display tab. Under Component Display, highlight elevations in the component column. The visible column contains light bulb icons. Yellow light bulb status is on. Blue light bulb status is off. Click the elevation light bulb to turn off the elevation component. Click the slope arrows and watershed light bulbs to turn them on, the slope arrows and watershed component. Click Apply and then click OK to close the Surface Style Slope Arrows Watershed dialog box. From the Surface Properties SR61 Final dialog box, select the Information tab to make sure the surface style is set to Slope Arrows Watershed. Select the Analysis tab, then set the analysis type to Slope Arrows from the drop-down list. In the Ranges area, set the number field to 8 and click the down arrow to run the slope arrow analysis. Review the range details at the bottom that displays values for minimum slope, maximum slope, and various colors for scheme rainbow's value. Do not close the Surface Properties dialog box. Process for the watershed analysis. The next steps will show you how to repeat the analysis process to run a watershed analysis. From the Surface Properties SR61 Final dialog, set the analysis type to Watershed and legend to FDOT Watershed from the top drop-down list. Click the down arrow to run the analysis. For Watershed parameters, type in 8 value and then click the down arrow again for the range details. Review the range details at the bottom that are populated with calculated values from the surface. Click the Help button at the bottom right to learn more about watershed types. Click Apply, then OK to close the Surface Properties SR61 Final dialog box. Review the Surface SR61 Final display of the slope arrows and watershed boundaries in the drawing editor. Exercise 4.3 Xref Files. Unload attached Xrefs from DRMPRD01. The next steps will show you how to unload attached Xrefs from the DRMPRD01.dwg. On the command line, type Xrefs to open Xref Manager. In the list, right-click on 516L-08 and select Unload. By unloading the external reference 5136-08, the drawing editor no longer displays the SID aerial image. Save your file before continuing. Attach a DSGN RD01 as Xref. The next steps will show you how to attach the DSGN RD01.dwg as an Xref file so it displays in your file at the correct coordinates. From the Home tab on the ribbon on the Layers Property panel, select Layers Property. Next, select Xref 03_DP. Click on the X to close out of the Layers Property Manager dialog box. From the Insert tab on the Reference panel, click Attach to open the Select Reference File dialog box. From Select Reference File dialog box, use the Look In drop-down list to navigate to the Civil 3D Projects 22049555201 roadway folder. And select the DSGN RD01 drawing from the Name column. Click Open to close the Select Reference File dialog box and Attach External Reference dialog box then displays. From the Attach External Reference dialog box, clear all checkboxes if any are checked. Set the reference type to Overlay using the radio button and click OK to close the Attach External Reference dialog box. Review the external reference DSGN RD01 drawing that displays in the drawing editor. Next, we're going to freeze layers in the Xref. Freeze any layers in the Xref that are obscuring your view of the pavement layers you wish to display from this file. From the Home tab on the Layers panel, click the Layers Property button. In the Filters area, expand the Xref collection by clicking the plus sign right-click on DSGN RD01 and hover over Visibility and select Frozen. Note there are no Apply or OK buttons. Changes take effect as soon as they're selected. Notice that the Layer Properties Manager tool palette shows all the light bulb icons in the freeze column that are set to frozen. While DSGN-RD01 is still highlighted in the filters area, use the search field in the upper right to display only layers containing pavement PAVT by typing PAVT in the field. The asterisk character is a wildcard character for searching. Notice the bottom left indicates how many layers are being displayed of the total number of layers. DSGN-RD01, 47 layers, displayed of 4,328. Highlight both the DSGN-RD01 pavement asphalt EP and the DSGN-RD01 pavement asphalt layers. Then click the snowflake icon to toggle it to a sunshine icon. This action is referred to as thawing the layer. Thawing the layer changes the not visible status to visible. In the filters area, scroll up to the list and click on all to display all layers. Click the X at the top of the panel to close the Layers Property Manager tool palette. Note, in the model space, the thawed pavement layers DSGN-RD01 pavement asphalt _EP and DSGN-RD01 pavement asphalt from the DSGN-RD01 Xref are displayed. Exercise 4.4, using the Xlist command. The next steps will show you how to use the Xlist command. The Xlist command allows you to list objects that are in an Xref file such as layers, colors, line types, and etc. On the command line, type Xlist. Select Enter, then data point on the pavement lines as shown. The Xref block nested object list dialog box is displayed. Notice the object and layer are listed within the dialog box. Click OK to close the Xref block nested object list dialog box. Save the DRMPRD01 drawing file before continuing. Exercise 4.5. Define catchments using surface and water drop. The next steps will show you how to define catchment conceptually using a surface and the water drop command. The watershed analysis displays the same boundaries you make with the defined catchments from the surface command. It is a good starting point for delineating subbasins, which you will define later by creating polylines. Then use those polylines to create catchments that will then be assigned to inlets. Use the water drop command to draw polylines. The polyline defines the water path takes as it goes from triangle to triangle along the surface. This command draws a 3D polyline from the high point you click to the corresponding low point on the surface. The opposite end of the polyline may be a good location for an inlet. Hint: we use 2D polylines as the path object type because 3D polylines do not display line types. Perform a water drop. The next steps will show you how to use the water drop command. From the Analysis tab on the Ground Data panel, select Flow Paths from the drop-down list and then select Water Drop command. Press Enter to select a surface from a dialog box. From the Select a Surface dialog box, select SR61 Final and then select OK. The water drop dialog displays. Make sure the path layer value is set to drain alert _px. The path layer is now set to drain alert _px. Click OK to close the water drop dialog box. Notice the command line prompts you for the next action to take, which is select a point. Select a data point on the pavement area near the south side of the median, as shown. Data point on the outside of the edge of pavement, and then press Enter to end the command. Hover over the polyline to display the tooltip showing the object name, color, layer, and line type properties. In practice, you would use the water drop command to create polylines in the area of investigation where you wish to place drainage inlet structures. Next, save and close the drmprd01.dwg file.